Student number 3 is a bit different than students number 1 and 2 in the sense that he actually does convey his personality for sure, but it's very sort of random and all over the place. And he's very much the outgrowth of what's been taught in the pickup community of late, which is just, self-amuse, convey you, that sort of thing. But he's not very clear in terms of what he's conveying when and how to take it in a direction. He's also not very clear in terms of conveying positive elements of himself as opposed to negative. He's just blindly conveying everything, and a lot of it is actually hurting him. So let's have a look.
Hi, I'm an angel. I know I'm an angel. I'm just missing my halo.
Oh, alright.
Just wanted to come say hi. You looked super adorable. I was like, shit, I have to come talk to her. Because I can't picture a reality where I'm not talking to you. Because that would be a really shitty one.
Alright.
What do you do?
I'm just hanging out, reading my book.
Okay, so let's look at that. I'm an angel, no halo. Okay, fine. That's fine as an opener. It's kind of cocky, whatever. But then it's just a lot of this like restating and rambling for no reason, right? Which is not helping him at all. And then now he's into kind of question mode a little bit. So he could have done all these same things that he's just done in probably 1 to 2 sentences instead of all that rambling, and it probably would have conveyed it in a much higher value kind of way.
Where are you from?
From Germany.
Oh shit. So you're gonna love this. So my favorite singer is like not famous anywhere else, but he's like really famous in Germany. Huh?
Who is it?
James Blunt?
James Blunt?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it is.
Yeah, like literally anywhere he goes. Is this yours, by the way?
Yeah, that's my piercing.
Well, where?
My nose piercing.
Oh. I was thinking somewhere else.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you have any more piercings?
No, just in my ears.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so did a decent job of getting seated, right, while talking, so that's not too bad. And so now it's going to be kind of a more brought-in interaction. But the conversation is just very random, right? It's gone in. It started out being about him and her, right? I'm an angel, et cetera, and then this whole if I wasn't talking to you, that'd be a weird reality. While I don't like that because it's very kind of making too much of a big deal of it. It's establishing your premise in a very obvious way as opposed to a subtle way. It did establish premise. So the conversation started out about him and her, and now it's about random ass topics, right? I think he did try some kind of a misinterpretation about like a piercing being somewhere else or whatever, but I think that kind of went over her head. So here we are now that the set has become quite random.
I don't know. I figured like you look kind of like very calm, tame, but really like you look more, but maybe like you could be like crazy or in some form or another.
Alright.
What do you in New York?
Okay, that's not bad. So he's gotten back to premise a little bit. Not so bad at all.
I'm actually visiting my boyfriend.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
You too.
Wait, you're doing a long distance relationship? That's terrible. I am so sorry.
Okay, so seems like, the girl has a legitimate boyfriend. It's probably not really his fault for getting rejected there. But what I do want to point out there is he has the option to leave it in a way that makes the girl feel good, or he has an option to leave it in a way that makes the girl feel bad, or leave it in a way that is socially normal as opposed to socially awkward. And so number one, I have a boyfriend. Okay, bye. Technically, yes, you are maximizing your time savings that way. So good job there. But you could just like have a little social courtesy about it and not leave right on that moment. But worse yet, this whole like, I have to leave and throw in that one last like kind of barb, that one last insult. That it just conveys sort of like I've been hurt by girls and I have to like hold my frame at all times, right? Look, the girl has a boyfriend, fine. You don't have to like give her shit as leaving. You don't have to leave like with a sour taste in your and her mouth. A good philosophy in pickup, and this isn't one that will directly affect your results in a way that is measurable, but it will affect your results on a sort of philosophical level, because you will know that you're offering value to a girl and you will know you're bringing a pleasant experience to a girl when you walk up to her. But the philosophy I have is that each approach and every girl you meet, you should leave her better than you found her. And if you do that, again, it's not going to directly, because what you do at the end of the set doesn't affect the set when it's already over. But if you leave the girl better than you found her, if you have that philosophy, it's going to be a lot easier for you to go in and know you're offering value and know that you're not interrupting the girl and know that she's lucky to be talking to you. So I really like that from that level. It's also a lot better morally and ethically just for the world. So please don't be this kind of person that every time you leave a set that rejected you, or that, I mean, she didn't even reject him. She has a boyfriend, probably a legitimate one, right? But every time you leave a set, you have to like take the high ground or have one last little like frame control barb or like, insult the girls you leave, please, please, please don't do that.
Oh, fuck! Never in my life have I almost tripped on a slippery fucking thing to come talk to a girl. Never in my life.
I feel like that's not a never in my life. I feel like always in my life, I do that all the time intentionally. I could be wrong, but that felt a little bit like it was delivered as a line. It didn't feel genuine at all to me. I could be wrong. Maybe it did genuinely happen, but I feel like that's something that's definitely he's done before.
I almost like literally fell back. I have a Mac in my laptop, in my backpack. Kind of scary for a second. I just had to come meet you. Thought you were really adorable. Are you from New York?
So what he's trying to do there is make it seem unintentional. He's trying to make it seem like, oh, it just happened, except he's not delivering it in a way that's convincing at all. So if anything, I think it's just going to break trust.
I live in New York.
Oh, where you from? Originally? Oh, shit. San Francisco or, I don't know how I feel about that.
It's a good place.
Really? I hear the food's amazing there.
Wait, what was your
I hear the food is
I feel like I'm a lot older than you.
perfect. That's how I like my women, a lot older and mature.
No.
Right, and so what's happening here, it's just very obvious. It seems very like put on, and so she's reacting. She's like, okay, look, I know what's going on. I get it. I'm not interested, etc., etc. Now again, you will get this no matter what sometimes. Occasionally you will get girls being like, no, thanks, but no. But you'll get it a lot more when you come off as a little bit contrived, when you come off as though you're just like blatantly moving forward without actually any thought towards the girl's experience. And actually that'd be a big criticism I would give of this person, or good big feedback I would give of this person, is they don't seem to be that aware of the girl's experience. They don't seem to be paying that much attention to the reactions they're getting. He's just kind of plowing forward regardless. He's just kind of like on his agenda of like, I'm gonna plow, I'm gonna like say what I wanna say regardless. And that can occasionally be attractive, right? Because it is dominant and alpha in a way. But on the other hand, it's not going to be maximally effective because you don't know where you're at. You're not assessing the situation, you're not catering to the girl's experience. And fundamentally, if the girl's gonna go with you, what you are trying to deal with is her experience, making her experience positive, making her experience one of a good narrative about you. So this idea that I'm just gonna like brazenly plow forward and just ramble ahead regardless of the girl's reactions is not one that can get you to an advanced level. It can do okay at an intermediate level though. Like it is definitely better than a beginner thing, but it definitely is a clearly not advanced thing, and it's one thing that you are definitely going to have to change and improve on to get to an advanced level.
Also, I mean, respectfully.
Respectfully.
I
respectfully.
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I respectfully love older women.
Very assertive move.
Thank you.
But I am going to continue to read my book.
Fair enough.
And let you have a good afternoon.
And I will let you.
I'm much older.
How old are you?
Than I look.
Right. So again, she actually called out almost exactly what it says. It's a very like bold move that you made, but I'm just gonna go on with my life, etc. It's again very clear what's going on, right? He tried to be, it just happened, but it really just didn't come off. It came off contrived, and she really knew it.
How old are you?
36.
Perfect. The oldest I've been with is 35, actually. I kid you not. I met her at a concert.
Good for you.
Met her at a rock concert. One thing led to another, and good things ensued.
Okay, good.
And this is kind of similar to the previous guy in the sense of calling out pickup in progress, or what he's trying to do. He's trying to social proof himself, right? He's trying to self-social proof by explicitly talking about having sex with another girl, right? That's not the way social proof works. He has the right idea, which is conveying himself as a sex-worthy guy or a guy who's had sex. But like calling out, oh yeah, there was a girl just like you who I fucked. It's very blatant. It's very, very obvious. And it's not in any way classy at all. It's calling attention to, hey, I do pickup. Hey, I'm a player, right? Which is exactly the thing she's rejecting him for in the first place, which is being a bit playerish and a bit contrived.
Maybe I'll see you at a rock concert one of these days. I just don't know what it is. I really don't. Like, I like the choker. I really do.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Nice to meet
Where are you from?
you. Colombia.
Oh my God. We're in Colombia. I have friends that go to Medellin all the time.
Cool.
I love Colombian girls. They're very attractive. They take care of themselves. Not like a lot of American girls. What are you doing in New York?
Visiting.
Oh, cool. Bye. See ya.
So that actually wasn't entirely terrible, but if you look at it, it was very much, hey, I'm being a player. Hey, I'm talking about the game going on. Hey, I'm talking about how cool you are by association by being Colombian. So basically, again, that actually could have worked, right? It's not like you would get a rejection every single time from that, but again, look at it from the girl's perspective. Hi, I came up to you. I think you're very attractive. I'm clearly playerish and talking about the type of girls I like to you, i.e. I'm talking about having sex right away, and I'm putting you on a pedestal. I mean, there's just perspective-wise, like thinking of, again, the narrative of if I do say yes to this guy, what have I said? It means I've said yes to a guy who's blatantly picking me up, who doesn't even like me, he just likes my type, and is talking about essentially having sex and what type of girls he likes with me within the first 15, 20 seconds of the interaction. So some girls will be fine with this, some girls will go ahead with it, and at least you have conveyed premise. But it is very, very obvious. It's very sort of like cheesy playerish.
Excuse me. Hi. Wow, you have like the most innocent, like, how old are you?
I'm 22.
22, really? Wow. You look a lot younger.
Yeah, I know. Hi.
What do you do?
I'm just here for the summer.
Oh, shit. From where are you from?
I'm from Portland.
Where?
Portland,
Oh, Oregon or Maine?
Oregon.
Wow. I hear like the food there is like really good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
There's a lot of flavors.
Okay, so here, right, asking a lot of questions and then just getting on random topics. Like, I've heard the food in where you're from is really good, right? He's not really getting to the point. It's very, very random, right? And so from what we've seen so far, he has kind of two modes. He has like super random all over the place mode. And then he has like, I'm hitting on you blatantly playerish mode, right? So he goes one of two ways. Either he doesn't get to the point and it just gets too platonic and random, or he gets to the point, but the way that he gets to the point conveys game is in progress, I am a player, I'm try hard in some way, right? And so those are his kind of two modes. Now, again, at least he's conveying his personality, right? So that's a big improvement from the other two guys, and he's definitely dictating events and making things about him in a positive way.
Are you walking this way?
Yeah, I'm just going to the library.
Oh wow, you seem like you're a girl that really takes care of her educational pursuits.
I
Really? Yeah. Tell me more about, what's your name?
I don't know.
Okay, and so what he's done here is he's basically asked the girl to qualify or asked the girl to participate, but she's not really bought in yet enough, not really like committed enough, so that's why you get the I don't know.
I mean, I thought you were very cute. I just had to come meet you. Yeah, I like girls that have like an innocent look to them. Cause those girls typically they're end up being like the coolest.
So now he's gone from random mode to, premise mode. But instead of just saying, hey, I wanted to meet you, he has to explain it and expound on it and talk about the type of girl he likes and et cetera, et cetera. So he's basically calling massive attention to the fact that he's picking her up, why he's picking her up, that he's picking her up, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, I just do my own thing, so.
Huh?
I don't really know what other people think of me.
Wow, interesting. What kind of music do you like?
I like jazz.
Really? Interesting.
Right, and there, he was on a particular discussion topic, and then he's like, okay, let's go into, back to random mode, back to wherever. Now, I think the reason for that is that he was feeling some resistance, like she wasn't qualifying to him, but now he's completely gone platonic again. And if he goes platonic for a while, he's going to have to start all over again with establishing premise.
Soul, a little bit of hip-hop.
Really?
A little bit of pop.
What are your thoughts on rock music?
I like some of it, but it's not my go-to. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on John Mayer?
Fine, I don't know.
Oh, interesting. All right, so here's the thing. I actually literally have to go right now, but I would very much love to hang out with you one of these days. Do you like steak?
Not really, but I have a boyfriend.
All right, it was nice meeting you.
Okay, so there, again, he's trying to close off of not having really built an interaction, right? He basically talked about a couple random topics. He conveyed that he liked her. So open premise a little bit. It was actually open, all kinds of randomness. Premise, all kinds of randomness. So the premise is kind of buried in the randomness. And then he's trying to close, not off of some premise, not off of a positive in the interaction, but off of like just a bunch of random questions about music. Now he's like, let's close, right? So at the very best, he has that 3-step process of open, premise, close, which means he's missing evaluate, narrative, right? Now he did try to evaluate, but she basically rejected his efforts to evaluate, which instead of being like a reason to close would be a reason to take more time and not close, right? So he's basically trying to rush to the end. And then again, I want to point out this, like, I have a boyfriend, you're dead to me and don't exist as a human being, like immediate reaction. I mean, come on, she's still a human being even if she has a boyfriend. And a lot of guys do this, I think, defensively, in this idea of I'm keeping my frame, I'm in charge, things are on my terms. But it looks like what it is, which is a little bit butthurt and react. Like, oh, you have a boyfriend? Goodbye.
Okay, horrible. I just wanted to come meet you.
Taylor, hi, nice to meet you.
What do you do? By the way. What do you guys do? How do you guys know each other?
Best friends from college.
Get the fuck out of here. How old are you? I thought you were in college.
I'm 25.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm turning 22 in like a month. It's gonna be great.
Living that good life. I like really admire your confidence.
I thank you, girlie. What are you guys?
Right, and if you're hearing that often, I really admire your confidence. What does that mean? It means that you are coming off as kind of low value, right? It means that like she admires the fact that someone low value like you would be confident enough to approach someone higher value like her. That's what I really admire your confidence means, right? Because basically it means you should be intimidated by her, but you're not, right? And why do you get that? It's because you're being obvious, you're conveying yourself using lower value frames, et cetera, et cetera.
From New York?
No, I'm from California.
Oh shit, how long are you in my city for?
A day.
Oh shit.
She's been here for a few days though.
Wow. What are you doing tonight? Do you like steak?
What?
Do you like steak?
Oh my god.
I make amazing steak. Like no one makes better steaks than I do. I make them in a pan as well. So it's like, you know.
Welcome to New York. You're so sweet, but I have a boyfriend.
Perfect. He doesn't need to know. I mean, it's like a New York romance. It's like
right. And so what are you seeing here? Like they're amused, right? He's actually being relatively clever, so they're amused by the cleverness, but they're just not considering him the right category, right? Because basically of this sort of like intermediate approach, where it is very much like, hi, I'm here, I'm the pickup-y guy, and I think I'd like to have sex with you, right? I don't know you, I haven't really conveyed much about me, but I'm just that pickup-y guy. And so they're amused by it, and they're flattered by it, but they're not considering it. They're not putting him in that category.
Hypergamy, don't care, girl.
And could you, I mean, she probably doesn't know what hypergamy is, but could you please call out the fact that you're a pickup artist a little bit more than saying hypergamy, don't care, girl? Right? You talk about talking or conveying that pickup is in progress.
I'm like so impressed with you right now.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you, I appreciate it.
But like, are you not gonna like sell something to us right now?
You can be number.
Right. I mean, so I'm so impressed, but no. And then the other girl is like, are you trying to sell? Like, again, it's not even the right category. And then his response is, you could be it's like even very players. You could be like girl number 16 or whatever, right? So it's just so obvious, right? If the narrative, and I come back to this over and over again, if the narrative in her head is, guy came up to pick us up, right? She's automatically on a pedestal. She's automatically in a high value frame, and it's automatically a situation where like, if she says yes, she'd be giving in, right? And so in this particular case, the girls are amused and flattered by it, but they're just not really seriously considering it.
I was like waiting.
26 maybe? I don't know.
What's happening? Do you go to school at NYU?
No, do you?
No.
Do you go?
No, I went
do you live in New York?
School. Yeah.
Oh, where in New York?
I live on the Upper West Side.
Oh shit. Upper West Side, nice.
Not like that high up. Like
not that high up.
Columbus Circle, like yeah.
That's like Midtown still, though.
It's not, but like, yeah, I get what you're saying.
I'm actually going to Gov Ball this weekend.
Oh, really?
That's technically like uptown, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you going?
No, I'm gonna be up north.
Okay, so this is actually good. This is actually kind of like making it more normal, getting to know them a little bit, conveying some of his personality, saying he's doing something in his life, conveying himself in a positive way. So all of this I'm actually pretty okay with. I feel like, unfortunately, the ship kind of has already sailed in this one, but these types of ways of conveying yourself is what he probably should have been doing earlier on in the interaction.
In Montauk.
Montauk?
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to the Hamptons. Wow. Yeah. You know, actually, I don't like you. I like her now. her. We're gonna get
It's
married.
not my house. It's her boyfriend's house.
And I mean, I suppose that's a decent attempt. You find out one girl has a boyfriend, you go and switch to the other one. It's probably your best bet. But because he's already been like kind of obnoxiously playerish before, he's only increasing that vibe at this point. But that said, I mean, like, there's what's good game and what's practical. Switching targets is probably practical. He probably should be a little less obvious about it, especially in the context of the reason why he's getting issues already. But at least he's trying, and at least he's kind of trying to come up with creative solutions. So I give him credit there.
Like, never mind.
Oh, so all right. Let me ask you this: how long have you been dating him?
Like 2 months.
Okay, so I read a book called Sperm Wars, right?
Okay.
And in the book, like the way the book goes.
So again, I mentioned this in a previous one. There's this idea of change her mood, not her mind, i.e. get her in a better mood so she wants to say yes to you. Change her mind would be give her logical arguments and talk about game and pickup in such a way that you try and frame and convince her. Talking about the book Sperm Wars and girls cheating and saying that she should cheat on her boyfriend because like the book Sperm Wars said that it's normal is definitely trying to change her mind. It's trying to make a logical argument. And that's not how you convince girls. You convince girls by changing their mood, by making them want to emotionally, not by logically like compelling them.
It's like gives a situation. It gives like a really vivid scenario, like
Right.
so vivid that like I found myself like getting boners through the book. I shit you not.
Okay, so he's trying to bring up sex here, which in general is a decent thing to be doing, but he's not bringing it up in a way that makes him look particularly cool, right? He's not bringing it up in a way that makes him seem like the sex-worthy guy. He's talking specifically about like getting a boner reading a book, which just it kind of sounds a little bit nerdy and a little bit kind of low value in a way.
And then the second part of it of the story, like it gives like a detailed explanation. So in one scene, I believe the woman is about to hook up with a successful man,
Right.
and she hooks up with him, but she takes the condom off and she gets pregnant. So are you the type of girl? Yeah, no, because like she wants to be supported by the kid, because like women have the dilemma where
Yeah, but
like
that's fine. But then also, like, she's stuck raising a fucking kid. Right. Like, I'd be into that if there.
Right, and I don't know if talking about like girls taking the condom off and the consequences of sex is the best way to get someone to do something spontaneous and random and try not to think about the consequences, right? If you want sex to just happen, talking about that kind of stuff, like talking about having kids, talking about STDs, like you don't want to talk about the potential negative, well, kids could be positive or negative, right? But you don't want to talk about the potential consequences of sex if you're going to try and get someone to potentially have random sex with you as essentially a stranger.
There's no kid. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I love unprotected sex. Unprotected sex is the best thing in the entire world. It really is.
I'd have to agree.
Oh, thank you. I love you. I love this chick.
Okay.
I'll put a baby in her tummy. Just
All right.
I'm kidding. It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. It was a joke. Relax.
Right, and then again, right? So it's just they're enjoying it, they're being entertained by it, but it's just not quite in the right category. Why? Because it's all so very playerish and obvious, and they've kind of already mentally checked out in that regard. They've mentally said no.
Buy some cheap ass books.
Really? Oh wow, you read. I'm very impressed. I'm very impressed.
That's a backhanded comment.
No, like actually, no, I'm serious. Like I like girls who read.
You're ready to get out there, aren't you?
And so these are actually good lines, but they'd have to be delivered from a position where they view you as having the value to deliver them, right? It's kind of like if, and I don't mean this in a negative way towards him, because he's definitely trying. He's doing a lot of the right things. He's just doing them out of context. But it's kind of like if like a 5-year-old kid was making fun of you, you just wouldn't take it that seriously. They could say these witty, clever things, but instead of like being like hit by the impact of what they said, you'd be like, oh, that's so cute. You taught your 5-year-old to do that, right? So it's amusing to them, it's entertaining to them, but because the way that he's conveying himself is not from a high value frame fundamentally, right? It's being taken as just amusement and not as something that's arousing, right? And this is what you get a lot with it's a thing in game, I call it self-amusing from the wrong frame, or self-amusing from a low value frame, right? When you're just saying a lot of random things and they're funny and they're interesting, but you're not conscious of how they're conveying you, what you're going to do is you're going to end up in these situations where the girls are entertained by you, the girls are enjoying you, but the girls are viewing you as that try-hard guy or that playerish guy or that guy who doesn't get girls, that sort of thing. So you want to be very conscientious. Humor is great, but humor is meant for a purpose. The purpose of humor is to convey the narrative of who you are in a positive way. If your humor is self-deprecating, or if your humor is making you look silly, then it's actually having the contrary effect, and you'll end up in situations a little bit like this one.
I legitimately like girls to read.
Ripe and ready.
I've been ripe for a long time. There's plenty for everyone. It's like there's always, it's like you know when you go to the movies and you get like a large tub of popcorn and like the bottom, like it just doesn't seem to end.
Yes. Yeah.
It's like an unlimited amount of popcorn. That's kind of what I am.
Wow.
And again, these are all like interesting frames of how you should maybe view yourself in game, that you're a high value guy and you're abundant and that kind of stuff. But there's a difference between like having that viewpoint and having it kind of ooze into your interaction, and then explicitly explaining it to a girl, right? And that's what he's essentially doing. He's explicitly explaining, game is going on. Here's the move I just did on you. Here's this other game thing going on that you should really pay attention to and focus on, right? So he's just calling out game over and over again. And while, you know, a lot of it's interesting, a lot of it's funny, it's just too obvious for the girl to say yes to it, right? The girl can't, with a lot of self-respect, say yes to that, because it's very much like, hi, I'm gonna trick you. Watch as I trick you. See, I'm tricking you as I'm showing you how I'm tricking you while tricking you. She just can't, it is nothing, it just happened about that, right? There's nothing spontaneous about that, and there's nothing in it that's a win for her.
Yeah.
Unlimited, yes.
Tight. Unlimited, yes.
Cool.
And you know, if you eat the whole thing, you're like, damn, I'm a fucking fat ass.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Dude, you're awesome.
All right,
Thank
we're
you,
gonna
thank
get
you.
free books.
Free books? Nice.
Right, and if you're getting told you're awesome, or if you're getting told at the end, thank you, right? You're awesome, or thank you for entertaining us, or something like that, that means that you were a bit of a dancing monkey. It means that you were in entertainer mode rather than in sex-worthy guy mode, and that's what you see here.
I loved your look. I love it. What does your tattoo say?
Amy Winehouse, Kurt Cobain signatures.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you like Nirvana?
Yeah, huge fan.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Foo Fighters, actually.
Really? Yeah. Dave Grohl, of course.
Yeah, wow. I'm impressed by your taste in music. I quite commend you for it. What's your name?
Nice to meet you.
What do you do?
I'm a student at NYU.
Interesting.
So
And how old are you?
I am 21.
Wow. And how many tattoos do you have?
One, so that's one. I have one over here.
Oh.
I have one on my back, and then I have a couple on my. I think I have 8 altogether.
How old were you when you got your first one?
18, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
thank God for bad parenting.
Right.
Yeah, so what do you?
So this is kind of cool. He is doing kind of the same stuff that he's doing, but he happened upon a girl who has a lot of commonalities with him, right? Both clearly into music. They actually like express themselves in the same way that he talks really, really fast, which generally isn't helping him. She actually talks really, really fast as well. They seem to have a similar sense of humor. So there's actually like a decent rapport here, right? So I wouldn't say that he's getting great reactions because he did anything particularly amazing game-wise, but he did okay. Gave himself a chance, conveyed his personality, and he happened to meet a girl that seems to have a fairly similar personality. So it's going relatively well.
What are you doing? So you study in New York?
Yeah.
Where are you from originally?
St. Louis, Missouri, actually.
Oh shit, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. What about you? Are you a student?
Not here. I'm in Brooklyn College.
Oh,
I
sweet,
was
yeah.
I had an internship today.
Awesome. Yeah.
So it was really great.
What year are you?
Technically should have graduated. I'm a
Okay.
super senior now.
Hey. There's plenty of them.
Yeah. You have pretty eyes, by the way.
Thank you. We're similar. We both have blue.
I know. Yeah, blonde hair, blue eyes. Wow. I like women who have blonde hair, blue eyes. What are you doing this exact second, by the way?
I'm actually going to meet some friends over by the
Oh, really?
IFC, but
Cancel.
I can't, but
Cancel.
I'd be happy to take your number.
And so here, like, again, good rapport. He's trying to push it too fast, right? He's trying to, like, asking to cancel on the friends this early. He doesn't have enough social capital for that. But at least he has the right idea and that sort of thing. But it's just very blatant and playerish. However, she does like him. The vibe is good. So she's definitely very willing to exchange numbers.
I would be happy to take your number.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Incorrect verbiage. By the way, what kind of rock music, what other rock bands do you like?
I'm actually more into, like, I'm a huge fan of The Who.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, my music tastes are quite expansive.
Interesting.
I'm not here. I'll just call myself, and I'll.
Can I put
Actually, why would I not? Yeah, I'll just.
Can I put your number in?
Here you go.
Whatchamacallit? My favorite rock band's Bon Jovi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you're an '80s guy?
Not really, no. I'm more.
Okay, so he's doing a decent job of not calling attention to getting the number right now, which is good, as contrasted to some of the stuff we saw from student number 2. And then he's just talking about like fairly random stuff. In general, this would be too random. In general, it would be like kind of like off the topic of you and her. But it just turns out that she's very into music as well. And so it actually is something that's building some rapport, building some commonality, and building some of that like vibe of she and he maybe special together or like work really well together, etc. So in this case, the music discussion is really, really good. But just know that in general, this would be a little bit too random.
I like modern rock, so I love Shinedown. Do you know Shinedown?
Yeah, I've heard of them. I don't know them well.
I have to teach you. What's your schedule looking like this weekend?
This weekend?
Yeah.
Nothing this weekend.
I'm going to. Just got really cheap tickets for Gov Ball, half off.
Really? Wow.
I negotiated with this Asian woman.
Sweet.
I feel like I'm the only person that can negotiate. Are you walking this way?
I am walking.
Well, I'll walk with you this way. I feel like I'm the only person who can negotiate, because like, you know, like a lot of Asian people, they don't negotiate.
Sure, yeah.
So I was able to negotiate it. Yeah. So yeah, I got for like $150 all 3 days. Wow. And I'm not an Eminem fan, so I might skip out Sunday.
I know. I was a little disappointed with the lineup. There are some decent contenders.
Right.
So here we've cut ahead where we left it in the park. It was looking really, really good. And then what really happened was they walked for quite a ways, and it was just a lot of that random, a lot of like commonality stuff. But he didn't really get back to getting to the point, bringing the premise back in a man-to-woman way. So it's become very much more friendly in nature, right? They have a ton in common. So it's going to be, you know, they could be decent friends, but because he's neglected the premise for a while, and again, it was just more of that same where they're talking about music, talking about random topics, and you see this is the end result.
All right, so we'll see each other tomorrow?
Yeah, absolutely.
Kiss goodbye?
Not a chance.
Oh, no.
There's a hug for you.
Shot through the heart and you're to blame.
Love it.
All right, I'll see you tomorrow.
All right.
Did you get my text?
I did.
Awesome. I'll see you tomorrow.
Great meeting you.
Great meeting you too. See you tomorrow.
All right.
And so I think that's a great indicator of overall, right? So do you want to see me tomorrow? Absolutely. We have a lot in common. Friendly, great, random. But kiss, not a chance, right? As in, you've gotten yourself out of that category, right? There was potentially premise at the start, but going too long without premise, going too long randomly, the kiss is a not a chance, right? And that's kind of what this guy's going to get. He does a lot of things well. Interestingly enough, he does a lot well. He definitely conveys his personality. He definitely dominates the conversation, which is a very important, very good skill. He definitely is fun, creative, interesting. Like when you talk to him, you know who you talk to. You know his personality. And that's in contrast to students 1 and 2, who really were asking too many questions and not conveying their personality. So he's doing a lot of good things there. The problem is the personality he's conveying is extremely random and eclectic, right? It's not really focused. He's not like really thinking, what am I conveying to these girls and how can I convey myself in the most appropriate, positive way? There's that. And then the fact that he's getting away from premise, right? Because it's so random, there isn't a lot of premise. Or when he does show premise, again, it's very playerish. He's actually literally calling out, like, for example, the sperm wars thing, calling out, hey, here's how men and women interact. Here's how men and women should interact. So why don't we interact that way? He's trying to logically persuade instead of emotionally convince and compel. And that's why he's ending up in this sort of like friend zone. He's almost like picking up his way to friend zone because he's either very random and all over the place and kind of platonic, or he's so obvious about the fact that he's doing pickup that the girl can't in good conscience say yes, but she will enjoy it because he actually has a great personality. He's actually like a really fun, funny guy. So that's very positive for him. He's just not using that fun, funny element of himself to convey value. In fact, he's using it, if anything, in a way that makes him seem low value, makes him seem playerish and a little bit try hard. So a lot of really good elements. Definitely a guy that could get success, and definitely a guy that even I think maybe student 2 might get more direct results than student 3 in some ways. But student 3 has a lot more of the elements he'll need for advanced game kind of going for him already. So in that sense, he's kind of more advanced. What he needs to do is he needs to be a little more, conveying himself in high value ways, be more sort of like polarizing and dangerous. And definitely when he conveys intent, when he conveys premise, he needs to do it in a way less playerish way. He needs to be so much more subtle about it. So I'd really focus on different ways to convey premise better, i.e. push-pull, i.e. being more subtle. And actually his big problem, as much as it's occurring early on, is a narrative problem. Because if you remember, there's two elements to narrative. One is the narrative of you and the girl together, and that narrative for him is definitely like, I picked you up, and that's not a good narrative. But more importantly for him is the narrative of who am I as a guy, right? And his narrative is I'm this silly, crazy, kooky guy. He needs to have a narrative more of like, I'm a high value guy, a narrative of if you were with me, it'd be a win for you. And so he needs to really go back and think about the things he's saying that are so fun and funny and amusing. What is the narrative being conveyed to the girl? Because he's really hurting himself with the narrative. And this is kind of the epitome of very common sticking points, self-amusing from a low value frame.